Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Sim Racing News Update. It's been a fortnight since the last one, and those 2 weeks have absolutely flown by. So we've got a fair bit to cover in today's episode. So let's kick things off with Automobileista 2, and this is the March 2024 development update that they have released. So this is not actually a content update, this really is the roadmap and kind of like what they're building on in the coming months and further out for Automobileista 2. Now, I will link to the notes for this down in the description box below, same as I will for all of the content that we talk about, so if you want to see more detail on it, go and click on the link after you finish watching the video, please. Right, so what is coming to Automobileista 2 in the future? Well, the big news, and this seems to be a growing trend, growing with the popularity of endurance racing, is that Automobileista 2 have partnered with IMSA and the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, which is basically a series of racing series in the UK focused around multi-class endurance racing, and this looks like a good official license. Now keep in mind Gran Turismo 7 had this, but to my mind didn't really do a great deal with it, and it looks like Automobileista 2 is going to do a lot more with it, because they've already said that they are going to have the full 2024 season eventually, so all teams, all cars and all venues will be represented in AMS 2. And they're working on that in conjunction with IMSA themselves. There's also some details on what's coming up in the next few months, where there's going to be graphics improvements for both cars and tracks. There are also going to be developments around live track and further physics developments. So if you are an AMS2 player, as I am, it looks like good news is on the horizon as they continue to further refine and develop the title. So that's AMS2's March news. In a much smaller one now, I'm moving on to Forza Motorsport, which by the way is what you're watching content-wise, because I've picked up Forza Motorsport and I'm currently playing through it, ready to drop a very late review of it, so keep an eye out for that one. And if you don't want to miss it, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Shameless plug there. So yeah, for Forza Motorsport there has been a hotfix released. This is hotfix 6.1, so not a biggie. It's affected both PC and Xbox, so PC and console, and it aims to address stability, rendering, and an issue with the livery editor. So it is fairly small. It's out there now, nothing major along those lines. So let's move on to something else, and we start with two double headers here actually. First of all, Le Mans Ultimate, which you may remember is a title that surprised me when it launched, because it being a motorsport games release, I expected it to be an utter shambles, and it was actually much better than I thought it was going to be. Well, over the course of the last 2 weeks we have both had a hotfix, so this is hotfix 2 for patch 1, which was mainly around, again, stability, a little bit of graphical update, and some lap invalidation code for car contact. Nothing major on that one, but about a week after that they then also released patch 2, and this was again a biggie. There was some big changes around the code itself, quality of life improvements, stability improvements, you know, things like fixing blue flag, being stated in cockpits correctly, played around with that, some improvements around AI, which is good, but the AI has actually been fairly consistent in it. I've not had a major issue with it, but improvements in the AI are always good, some UI changes, and a lot of tweaks around the circuits and the vehicles, mainly around things like cameras, making sure the cameras are correct, which has been an issue on the replays. You could end up watching just a bit of an empty track for a while. And then the vehicles, a lot of level of detail changes, again some camera fixes and a few other bits and pieces, but it is a big patch that's come out for it, and this is really good to see, because it does look like Studio 367 and Motorsport Games are making sure this title is supported and patched and expanded on seriously. Now, with that in mind, we've not seen any new content or any new modes introduced yet, but we are seeing improvements on a regular basis coming out to Le Mans Ultimate, which is great to see. So moving away from Le Mans Ultimate and onto Ren Sport. Now, Ren Sport's an interesting one, and I must confess, I've not had a go at it yet, even though I've got a key for it, and I really must remedy that very soon. But what they've released is their 2024 roadmap. And this is broken down into really 4 areas. They've broken it down into a March release, which is now with us, and I'll talk more about that in a moment, which looks at time trial and things like that. They've then said Q2, they'll look at progression. No idea what that means, it just means date to be announced. Early access is coming at some point in Q3, so it will be coming out of closed beta and into some form of early access. Now go and read the article that I've linked to once you've finished the video, because it's not a kind of traditional early access that we're talking about here, so do go and have a read about that. And then Q4, it just says endurance, date and content to be announced. So this is quite interesting, and it's good to see that there is a lot of stuff coming out. Now, as I mentioned, the Q1 part, the time trial, has already dropped. That dropped on the 27th, and it's added some new content in there, as well as some new stuff to do. So we've now got the Goodwood Festival of Speed Hill Climb and the Porsche Mission R electric car in there. So we've got both of those in there, and they've added in time trial events, ghosts, online leaderboards and things like that. They've also started playing around with day-night cycles. Now, so far, only the ability to race in the dark, and only at one venue, which is Spa. But it shows progress, and it'll be interesting to see how that performs and how that then builds on that. What they've also said is that if your name is down for the closed beta and you've not yet had your key, they are releasing new batches, and they claim that they will launch 2,500 keys every Thursday onwards, starting from the 4th of April, and you redeem them through the Epic Game Store. So there does appear to be ongoing content, ongoing key drops for Rennsport. So if you have put your name down and you've not yet got a key, do keep an eye on your email inbox for that. Moving on, we have a new title coming out and announced, and this is called Golden Lap, and it's from the developers that brought you Art of Rally. But it is very, very different to Art of Rally. This is a racing team management sim set in the 70s, I believe. And it's a very minimal title. It claims to have deep strategic gameplay and offers a unique experience in the motorsport management genre. We don't have a release date planned and firmed up other than 2024 at the moment. The aesthetic of it looks quite interesting. How engaging the gameplay will be off of the back of that remains to be seen. But it does look, from what we've got, like it's got fake versions of a wide range of tracks in there, faux versions of real teams, and you'll have to cope with accidents, mechanical breakdowns, and the weather as well. So certainly one I'm going to keep an eye on, because it does look like it could be quite interesting from that perspective. So keep an eye on that. Would initially only be coming to PC, and you can wishlist it currently on Steam, probably a few other PC locations as well, but currently on Steam. Back then to updates, and weirdly we've had an update for Wreckfest, and this is an update that's provided something that they promised I think 2 years ago, and that is PC crossplay is finally here. So up until now, if you'd bought Wreckfest on Steam, you couldn't play against people who bought it, say, on GOG or Epic, and vice versa, which meant the PC audience from a multiplayer point of view was effectively siloed. That's changed, the updates come along, and you can now cross-play across Steam, GOG and Epic. It's got no PC to console crossplay though, so it's a bit of a weird one that they've dropped this 2 years after they announced it and a long time after we've really had any updates or any content or anything for Wreckfest. Now don't get me wrong, Wreckfest's a great game, but this one came as a bit of a surprise, I've got to be perfectly honest with you. Something that's not a surprise is we have more content and an update for Forza Horizon 5. So in this one we've had 6 new cars added to the title, another optional DLC pack bringing a further 4 new cars to the title, as well as more events and more season stuff. So the Race Off is the title of the new challenge events. I'm not going to go into what they cover. You can have a look at that yourself using the link down below. But yeah, new cars. We've got a new McLaren, Audi TT, Mustang SVT, Jaguar F-Type, another Mustang, GT this time from 2024, and an F-150 Raptor R. And they've also, as I say, added in 4 cars in an acceleration car pack DLC, which you have to purchase. I think that's around about £4. McLaren Sabre, Ginetta G10, Ford Supervan 4, and the Shelby GT500 from 1967 gets added into that. So quite a bit of content being added into Forza Horizon 5 still, quite a while after launch on that one. Right. Speaking of content, Race Room has added some new content in as well, and this is in the form of a new circuit and sort of, but not a new car. I'll come on to that in a moment. Now, in terms of the circuit, this is a great one to add. It's the street circuit located in Pau in France, which is down near the border with Spain. It's a great track that historically has seen a lot of activity. It's, I believe, used for a non-point scoring F1 race many years ago. I may be wrong on that, please correct me down in the comments if that's true, but I do know it has held a lot of race events over the years, including the World Touring Car Championship, and it's your typical tight and twisty street circuit. It's the sort of thing, if you really like Macau as far as the street circuit goes, you're going to love Pau. It falls into that category. It's got some really challenging corners in there, some really tight hairpins, one in particular on there, and Race Room's done a cracking job of this, and it's one of the things that Race Room still does really well, and that's finding unusual circuits that don't really appear outside of mod content in other titles and including it in there. And given the age and platform that Race Room sits on, I actually think it still looks pretty good, and it definitely drives well and has some great AI in there. So you can enjoy Pau to your heart's content off of the back of that. Now, I mentioned the new car, but it's, and I've air quoted that, it's not really a new car. The Ferrari 296 has been in as part of the DTM content, which is effectively a GT3 car these days. Well, what they've done is they've added in the actual GT3 liveries for this now for you to pick up and purchase. They're about 25 pence each, but to all intents and purposes, it is the same car. The car is no different between DTM and GT3. All they've really done is added liveries in and allowed you to race it in the GT3 category, not just the DTM. So it isn't really a new car, it's new liveries for an existing car, allowing you to use it in a new class. Hopefully that made sense. I really do hope that made sense. And then finally, our final bit for this month's update is Gran Turismo 7 have dropped their monthly update for March. So we get 3 cars added in, which is the Audi R8 Coupe V10 Plus from 2016. We get the Lamborghini Urus, I think that's how it's pronounced, from 2018 added in, and a fan favourite for GT, the Toyota GT1, that's the TS020 from 1999 in its Le Mans form. So 3 solid cars, being perfectly honest, that you get in there, and they've added a teeny tiny bit of additional content on top of that in terms of events. Now, there is no circuit that follows here, which leaves it now, I think, a year since we've had a new circuit. possibly. I can't remember. It seems like it's a very long time anyway. Certainly in terms of a tarmac circuit. I can't remember when Lake Louise dropped, but that's a snow circuit. Fun one, but a snow circuit. Now, one extra menu has been added into the cafe, and this is a completely bizarre one because you would have thought with the 3 cars that are being added in, the new extra menu in the cafe would be around those, particularly the possibility of the GT1. But no, it's a Jaguar one. So, there we go. Logic doesn't apply when it comes to Gran Turismo, never has. And we've now got 3 new World Circuit events have been added in. You've got a European Clubman Cup 600 at Blue Moon Speedway, one of the infield locations. The Schwarzwald League has had an event added at the High Speed Ring Reverse. And so that you've got somewhere to use the Toyota GT1, World Touring Car 900 has been added to the 24 Hours of Le Mans, so the Le circuit, and that's a 10 race event. Some new anime based stickers are available for a limited time. Why they're available for a limited time I don't know, but there we go. And we've had a Fukushima added as a new curation in Scapes. And that's about it. So there's not a lot off the back of that. The 3 cars are nice, but the rest of it is a little bit piecemeal, in my personal opinion, for the GT7 March update. But at least we're still getting content, which is good. So that's it. That is our sim racing news update for this fortnight, closing out the month of March. I'll see you in another couple of weeks where we'll see what's happened at the start of April. Thanks very much for watching, and if you have enjoyed this, please do hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when new content gets uploaded. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye.